So I've been working on attacking my stash this year, but I have a lot of yarn goodies to share with you today. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is episode 64 of the Crochet and Knitting podcast, where I'll be talking about everything that I've been knitting, crocheting, making in general in the past month-ish is kind of how our timeline is marching out. So thank you so much for being here. Grab a cozy drink if it is still cozy where you are. It is May right now. Yesterday, it was in the 70s. Today, it is 45 degrees and rainy here, so I'm enjoying some coziness because we won't have it for too much longer. So like I said, it is nice and gloomy today. So I have my ring light, so the lighting's a little bit different, but hopefully you feel like you can still see things pretty well color-wise, but we're making do with the time we have. My baby is sleeping and my preschooler is out of the house. This is the chance I have to film this. But let's jump right into my makes for the month of April. Let's talk about my one finished object. Yes, I only finished one thing in April. It was kind of a rough month, not necessarily from a making standpoint, but because it was a rough month, it impacted my making, if that makes sense. So we can get into that more with the life chit chat, whatever at the end, but we're in the midst of the 4-month sleep regression, and it's been like 3+ weeks now of waking up like 4 to 5 times a night. And it's really doing a number on me. My baby's fine. He doesn't seem phased, but I am struggling. We are doing the best we can. But the one finished object I have is my check socks from Carly Perrins. I did test this pattern for her, and I knit the first sock for that test knit, and I finished the second sock. I just pulled scraps from this. I'm pretty sure that this pink mauve colored, this dusty rose, was from Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. Advent. And then the beige color to go with it, I think is Teeny Button Wednesday in a Cafe. These are both scraps. So I just pulled from my stash and tried to kind of come up with a color palette I loved, and I really love how these turned out. I think that this stitch texture is really striking. Visually, it's really fun to do because there's a lot of slip stitches, and I personally like slip stitches. And it was just so fun to knit up because it is made up of slip stitches. As you can see, it kind of squishes down the row or round gauge. I ended up knitting more rounds than I typically do on a leg, and it still turned out shorter, just a little bit shorter than I typically like. I do like a shorter calf length sock or like a taller ankle length sock. So this is pretty close to what I typically enjoy. I also really like how the texture is on the foot as well. It kind of squeezes and hugs your foot, just is nice and snug and cozy. So I really liked that. This pattern is part of a collection that Carly Perrins recently released. I'll link it down below. There's a toe up and a cuff down version, and in these collections there are 3 patterns each. So if you are wanting to do something that is pretty mindless, but has like a fun texture, a fun element to keep you interested, you know, not just a vanilla sock, it kind of plays with some texture and some striping, but it's pretty vanilla plus, like it's not too difficult. I definitely recommend. I love her patterns. I've tested many patterns for Carly. And on this heel, I did just my regular German short row heel, but I followed a tip of hers that she shared online, and I borrowed 2 stitches from either side of the instep or the front half of my sock. So instead of doing a 32 stitch count heel, I did a 36 stitch count heel just to make my heel pocket a little bit deeper because I have a high instep, and so short row heels don't tend to fit me as well as heel flap and gussets. So this is my attempt to see if that'll work. Alfred, get out of here. Stop pushing my tripod. Get out of here. It's my cat. So I'm really hoping that I really like the fit of this long term, like wearing it throughout the day kind of thing. Typical short row heels just slide right off my foot. So I'm hoping that this adaptation is going to work really well for me. I love how it feels just putting it on my foot. It feels like it fits better. So we'll see with wear if I think that as well. Okay, while I only have one finished object, I do have a lot of works in progress. So let's jump right into those. Where to start? My first work in progress is in a Goose and Ghost Knits bag because most of my project bags are Goose and Ghost Knits. I will link her down below. She's a friend of mine on Instagram. I love that she designs the fabric and she gets it printed out, and then she will make the bag from the fabric. So it's all of her kind of brainchild. I love it, and she has lots of really fun designs. I've purchased lots from her in the past. I have finished the first sock of this pair, and I am on the second sock. Ta-da! Let's see, let me use my sock blocker to show it off a little better. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, so cute. This is the Freckled Whimsy 2025 Advent Calendar yarn. So it's self-striping. There are 24 colors. So I worked from the toe up. As soon as this fun pink was done, it went right back to that dark teal so that I had like a full another repeat. I ordered a 100-gram skein. I don't know if there were even a 50-gram skein option, but I ordered it to be split into 2 different cakes because I was thinking that I would knit one sock from one cake and one sock from the other cake. Clearly it's not Advent season, so that didn't happen. But because of that, I haven't been in a huge rush to finish these. I'm finishing them leisurely. This was my focus project, honestly, this week, just because it was the easiest to bring with me and take it wherever I needed to go and to just put in some good vanilla stitching in on it. But because it has 2 full repeats of this 24 stripe sequence within each half skein, I'm just going to use up 1/2 skein so that instead of having 2 small balls of partially used skeins, I'm going to totally use up 1/2 skein and have the other 1/2 skein for maybe like a hat project or a gift or something like that. So I'm really happy with that it just works out mathematically really well. So these are the 24 colors. I did say I started at the toe. I just did my typical toe up short row heel sock pattern. I'll have it linked down below. It's just a vanilla sock, but that pattern has measurements and numbers for baby up through adult extra large. I do a 64 stitch count sock, and I started at the toe because I wasn't sure how many stripes I would get on the foot, and I wanted to include all 24 colors within the same sock. So I figured if I did it toe up, then I would be able to just bind off whenever I finished the 24th color, which is what I did. So these socks are little bit taller than I typically like, but again, not too far off, so I think I'll still get some good wear out of them. I ordered the contrast mini to go with it. I feel like there's a name for this yarn because it's not just Freckled Whimsy's 2025 Advent skein. What's the name? Frosted Winter Garland. Cute, cute, cute. And yes, I got it with the mini to do the heel, but I was able to do everything else in the striping because again, I didn't want this to be a crazy tall sock, so I didn't want to use a contrast for the cuff and the toe as well. I did the same modification for these short row heels that I did in the finished object socks I share with you, the check socks, where I pulled 2 stitches from either side of the instep to make this a 36 stitch count heel, just to be a deeper pocket because I like how that fits on the check socks on me. I don't know how it wears long term, but I like how it feels better than a traditional short row heel sock, so I tried it again on these socks. Finished one sock, feeling really good about that, especially because with like a deeper heel, I wasn't quite sure exactly where I wanted to end the foot of my sock before I switched to the heel, and I didn't want to do an afterthought heel. So I did a lot of like trying it on, taking it off, knitting a little bit more, doing some measurements, playing around with it, and I'm happy with how these fit. And so now I know at what point in the stripe sequence I can just switch to the heel. I don't have to think about that as much because I'm just copying the first sock. And for this second sock, I think this is almost where the first sock was last I shared with you, but I've just barely finished the toe and I am starting on the foot. I'm starting on the 3rd color. I'm a couple rounds in. And yeah, it should be really mindless. I can just go, 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 go until I get to that like light blue stripe, and then I'll have to pay attention to where I end so that I can start the heel at the right time. And again, this is a vanilla sock, and so as soon as that heel is established, I'm just cruising, and then I'll cruise through the leg and the cuff, and it's just nice to have a really nice, easy project going on. And this is the pair of socks I have that are now the closest to being finished, so I definitely expect to finish them this month. I've got another pair of socks that have gotten a little bit of love from me. I did put these down, but I started my heel at the right spot. I'm doing a heel flap and gusset. Also a toe-up sock. I'm doing lots of toe-up socks recently, so it takes a little bit more like finagling to figure out exactly where to put the heel so it fits appropriately, but I have the heel established, so it should be like smooth sailing from here. It's a partial sock, so I don't know how well I can show this in any capacity. I guess we'll try a little bit on the sock blocker since I have it. But these are my piece of the pie socks. You can see I have my heel turn done, and I'm starting my heel flap to work up the back of the foot. Yeah, this is kind of hard to show. So heel is established, and this is the heel that I do in my toe up heel flap and gusset sock pattern. Again, I can link it down below if you're interested. This pattern that I am following just uses a short row heel, and those don't fit me as well. So I wanted to try heel flap and gusset because I thought I would like it more. These are the Piece of the Pie socks. Look at that beautiful texture. This pattern is by Kimberly Fridsma. So good. I think I casted these on right around Thanksgiving, and then I put them down right away because I just had other things going on. So it's nice to get back into it. It took me a minute to like revisit the pattern and figure out where I was in the stitch repeat, but I've kind of gotten into the groove of things because I knit the whole gusset this month. I should probably get back to it because I now need to work on the heel. Hopefully I won't forget the stitch pattern and have to revisit it again and study it when I come back to that. We'll see, I guess. It's not a big deal. This texture is so, so pretty with these cables going up and this almost like a seed stitch texture right here, and you're doing some twisted stitches to get this fun pie shape. I am using Woolbury Fibre Co.'s pumpkin pie sock set, if I remember correctly. And so it's this beautiful main color, and then it comes with 2 minis. It comes with this like dark crust as well as a whipped cream color. So I'm going to do this just for the cuff so that visually crust is on the bottom of the foot and then the whipped cream is on the top. So this is fun. I am really enjoying myself knitting this. I definitely recommend this pattern. And if you don't want to insert a heel flap and gusset, the pattern includes a short row heel. So you're good there if that's what you like to do. That is not particularly what I like to do, and I like a little variety in my socks, hence why with my other short row heel socks I decided that I wanted to make this one a heel flap and gusset. So yeah, we're about halfway through, maybe a little over halfway through the first sock on that. Still got a little ways to go, but we're kind of hitting our groove. Another Goose and Ghost Knits bag. Do I have an accession? Maybe. We'll share one more small project that I've got. I am working on the Berry Cozy Gnome by Sarah Shira. This is a make-along that is running, I think it'll release completely as an all-inclusive pattern, maybe May 12th, I think. All the clues have been released. I am halfway through clue 3, so if you don't want any spoilers, here's your warning that I'm going to show you how far I've gotten. I am a little bit behind. I'm also trying to film this because someone gave me the suggestion, and I thought it would be fun to have this as like my making vlog coming out in April to May-ish time period. And again, I'm behind because it's been kind of a rough month. I've been very, very exhausted, and that makes it hard to work on knitting and crochet after kids go to bed. Let me get my pieces, because again, I'm only halfway through this pattern, and so there are a lot of pieces. Okay, I think I have all my pieces. This is kind of a smaller gnome, so that's fun. Final call for if you don't want to be spoiled, but all of the pattern has been released. So this is the beard, and it's got like a little pocket that you can put the hands in, kind of like a little hoodie pocket. So it's a beard with a little, sorry, that's blowing out kind of, with a little nose. I'm using not a white or cream color. This is like a very, very pale aqua. So he's kind of a monochrome gnome, a little bit different. I've got 2 little I-cord arms. They've got some pearl bumps right at the cuff, so that's kind of fun. I haven't done that before. And my favorite piece so far, so cute. We have a little bear hat. Look at those little bear ears. I need to knit the little like I-cords in a contrast color to be the inside of the bear's ears, and I think that's it for this clue. So I'm almost done with clue 3. And I'm hoping that I can get working on this today, make some good progress, and then my making vlog about this process is gonna come out May 12th. I don't know if I have it in me, if we keep doing this poor sleeping. We'll see, I guess. I will do my best to have this come out when the pattern itself comes out in full. But I always love doing Sarah Shira's gnome patterns. They are familiar and comfortable and yet always have something new and interesting. So they're a really fun way to test out different techniques and to do something that's small with sock yarn and sock needles that's not a sock. And they're a really great way to use up scraps. So last year I did the Year of Gnomes make along that she hosted. So I made a different gnome every single month of the year. This year I'm just doing the mystery knit alongs, which is what I have been doing in the past. So we have the spring one, we'll probably have a fall gnome, and then we'll have an Advent gnome in December. Is kind of how her pattern releases go. And she usually has a couple other non-mystery patterns that she'll release as well throughout the year, but I will definitely be participating in the mystery knit alongs because those are super, super fun. I have a couple bigger projects to share with you that I'm so excited that I've made good progress on. Sorry, I thought I saw a spider. But I'm gonna share with you a swatch I'm in the middle of working on for a test knit. This is for the Sea Tangle Tee by Mina Lander. And what really drew me to this, I think this is like, if not her debut pattern design, it's one of her early ones. She has not designed a lot, but I really love that this is a cute tee with some fun cable texture that's really interesting, and it is button down. I love a good button down, and having a button down summer top sounds perfect, especially because I'm breastfeeding. So this is my gauge swatch so far. I feel like I'm a little behind because I just have been so exhausted. It's honestly been really hard to get anything done in the evening. And so I'm at least partway through this gauge swatch. I'll show you. Kind of see some of that texture. They're kind of like undulating cables, so they're not the same throughout. It kind of opens and closes, which is really, really cool. I'm using Witchfire Fibres in the colorway Ascension in their double sock base. And I'm just doing my swatch in the round. I haven't measured it because I want to like finish the whole repeat and then block it and whatnot to measure it. This lighting is making it a little hard to see, so I'm hoping that next month I'll have better lighting, but I'm making do, like I said, so thank you for bearing with me. There's some interesting variegation, but it's pretty soft, so I'm hoping that I like how this looks, but I'm gonna finish my swatch, block it, and then reassess and decide whether for sure I want to do this. I think I do, because I think that this will be really, really fun, and will add to the like corally, seaweedy chaos that I'm feeling with this. Super cute, and I'm really excited about this. And none of the cables are so big that I can't do them without a cable needle. That's a skill that I'm working on, both with the Piece of the Pie socks as well as this pattern. And so I am grateful that I get a chance to practice that skill. And even with superwash yarns, I am figuring it out. So I'm really happy about that. This test knit is due, I think, mid-June. So you'll see a lot more progress on this next podcast episode. I told you I had a lot of works in progress. This one is a big one. This is my Warm Welcome baby blanket, and this is a long-term project. I'm not in any hurry to finish it, but there's a lot of skeins of yarn dedicated to this project, so it'll be a really good way to use my stash. I purchased this yarn intended for this project, so some people might not feel like that's stash, but I'm using up skeins of yarn that I have by working on this project that I've had in mind for a little while. I'm using a combination of Knit Picks Stroll Bear, like their undyed colorway, because it's a little bit warmer than like the stark white, held with some Surrey from Red Dwarf Fibre. And this Surrey is all inspired by Emily Henry books. And so this is like my Emily Henry book blanket. So cozy. And I adjusted the pattern to have more stitches, so it's a little bit bigger, not quite as small. So cute. So you can see I'm on the 4th color. Our first color was this like pink variegated with some blue, and then we had the blue tonal, the blue and green variegated, and now I'm just on the green tonal. So I'm alternating between tonals and variegateds in a sequence of colors that coordinate with each other. So it's like color blocking, but all the colors coordinate with the colors next to it kind of thing. So it's a little bit of a fade color block, if that makes sense. So I am 5-6 rows in, something like that. I am making some progress on this. I think I ended up doing 15 rows on the other colors before I ran out of yarn, so I have a little ways to go, but I would love to finish that green stripe by the end of the month to just kind of plug away at this and make some good progress. I think I've got like 8 to 10 skeins of Surrey to work with, plus a skein that I want to use as like the border, and I have like another skein that I didn't have in the Surrey because it wasn't released as a Surrey colorway, but I have it in sock, so I might hold that with some mohair to like simulate a similar effect. I'm not really sure. At least I'll get through all the colors that I have set aside already, and then we will figure out what to do with the last couple random skeins that don't quite suit the rest. But that's a later problem. So I'm really happy with this. And again, it's using up quite a bit of stash. I have this big bag full of yarn to take into account, and it's just nice and easy. It's a crochet project, and it uses like this undulating like wave pattern, so it's pretty simple to do, and it's pretty mindless, honestly. The hardest part is dropping one or both of my strands while I am crocheting, so I kind of have to pay a little bit of attention. I think if I was crocheting with just one strand, it would be way faster, but because I have the 2 strands, occasionally I will drop my Surrey strand or my like Knit Picks strand, and so then I have to like undo a stitch or so to like get it back on the hook and like do it the right way. And if I wasn't a perfectionist, maybe I wouldn't do that, but I care about what I make, and it's just setting me back a little bit and slowing me down a little. So not a big deal. I would rather do that than have little like snags of yarn that don't get incorporated into my crocheting. So we're plodding away at that. I have one more work in progress that is knitting crochet related, and then I have a couple quick cross stitching projects that I will share with you as well here. This is currently my longest standing work in progress. I've had this on the needles for about a year probably, and I really haven't worked on it. I've been really dragging my feet, and sometimes it feels easier to just let those things stay by the wayside, but I am working on this and getting it done because I've actually edited the vlog that this pattern will be featured in up until the point where I have currently knit. So I just need to finish knitting this so I can finish the video. This is my Digging for Love cowl, and it is a combination of dino doodles and baking doodles for the book Digging for Love by Chandra Bloomberg, I think. And this was one of Yarnaceous Fibre's book boxes that they came out with last year. I think it was the February box last year, and I didn't start it for a few months, and then I was pregnant and miserable in my first trimester. And then by that point, I started making baby things, and like time got away from me. So we are working on this. This is a focus project of mine. I'm trying to put in, if I have the time, 20 minutes of knitting on this a night. I've only done it maybe like every other night because I've had other things that are more time sensitive that I've had to work on. I haven't had the mental bandwidth to do more. Trying to keep up with my household too after kids' bedtime. There's just like a lot going on, and with like my 12-hour shifts that I work still occasionally, I can't do it every night, but I've been able to do it about half the time, and I'm hoping to stick with it and to continue working on this. So you'll see I had this like heart motif with this like little like loop-de-loop done before, but in the past, I think week and a half, I have done all of the Stegosaurus, all of the rolling pin, and I started the next motif. I'm going to do like bones in the ground. So that's why I have the white there. So I'm making progress. It's still slow. I would love to finish this in May. I don't know if doing 20 minutes a day, even if I continue to do it every single day, is going to do that. But I think the more I work on this, the more momentum I'll gain, and the more I'll want to work on this. It won't feel quite so hopeless to have such a long-standing WIP. So if you have a long-standing WIP, let me know how long it's been in your works in progress pile, and maybe we can work on our long-standing WIPs this month together and tackle them. So I have a cross stitch project that I'm trying to at least work on it a little bit every single month and share that here with you, because I was introduced to cross stitch via one of Yarnaceous Fibre's book boxes. There was like a teeny tiny little keychain, and I was like, wow, this is actually really fun. I want to keep doing this. So I've made some progress on the knitting raven that I started a couple months ago. Ta-da! There he is. I've made some progress on the hat, and I think I've also made progress on like behind the eyeball. I did some progress on the beak as well. I haven't quite finished the beak, but I'm having fun working on the hat now with these fun oranges. We're getting there. This is not like a full coverage cross stitch, and so it's gonna be a little hard to do like the little accessories and stuff like around the image, because I'll have to count every single space to make sure I put it in the right location. I'm a little nervous about that. So I'm just focusing on the centerpiece, the knitting crow first, and then we'll get to the like extraneous stuff later. This is my first like actual cross stitch piece ever. I'm learning a lot. I think I have too thick of thread. I'm using 2 full strands doubled up, which makes 4 strands. So it's a little bit thick. I also am using a lot of knots. So it's not like the prettiest back, but that's a method that I had heard about first, and so that's what I'm doing. I am, however, making sure all of my crosses go in the same direction. That's something that I learned before I started. So I feel like it's still pretty good, even though there's things I want to improve on, which I'm doing in this second one. I was only gonna have 1 cross stitch pattern going at a time, but I just was really inspired to start this one. This is called Eat the Rich, and ooh, the maker is Thimbly. Make sure to have all the information down below if you're interested in it. But what really sold me on this is it's like the Very Hungry Caterpillar, but at the bottom it says Eat the Rich. I love it. But I saw a mod that someone did where they made like little backstitch angry eyes, and I want to do that. That's really what put me over the edge and was like, you know what? I need to start this project. So a couple Sundays ago, I just was working on this at my in-laws, and I have like a little over half the face done. So super, super cute. And this is smaller for sure. And it really is just the caterpillar itself and then some words at the bottom. It's a little bit more compact. I really like the idea of these like Aida frames, and I kind of eyeballed how it would fit. And the frame is a little bit too small. So I'm like hitting the wood here. And so I had to be really careful like stitching this edge, but we made do, we made it work. So the rest of it should be way easier until the very edge where again, I'll have like maybe 2 or 3 columns that are interacting with that wooden edge. It should be fine. Did I learn my lesson? Probably not, because I still think that having this already like on a frame is really, really cute. But we'll see, will both of these cross stitch patterns get worked on this month or not? I'm not sure. I would love, yes, to make some progress on both of them, but I thought it would be fun to just share with you that I am working on them. I just got this cute needle minder from my local quilting shop that is not too far from my house. So super, super cute. And it's just fun to be able to do other crafts. I'm a crafty DIY person, and while I do a lot more crochet and knitting, especially, I've kind of invested myself in those crafts, it's fun to be able to make time for other things too. And since we're moving into our new yarn goodies, I've got a lot to share with you because of the Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair. Let's jump into that. I'm gonna start off talking about my Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair haul because that's where like almost all of this came from. And first, my cross stitch bag. I picked up this bag because I've been looking for a bag that works with my hoops that's big enough for my cross stitch. And this was the bag I was looking for. So cute. I don't know. It's like kind of a vintagey feel with these like brown flowers on it. Victorian vintagey, quilty kind of feeling. And this is from Phat Girls Fibre. And what I really like about this, the height, the size, I like that it's zippered so it kind of keeps everything contained a little better. And it opens up really wide. It's got like the metal wire to kind of pop it open. I feel like there's a name for that kind of bag, but I'm not quite sure. So there's tons of space in here. So I can have like my project on a hoop. I can have all my thread right there. There's a couple little pockets for like notions and things. I even put my frame, because it's a little smaller, in this big side pocket just so it's like a little bit more separated from my other project. And there's plenty of room left in here, so I could put more cross stitch stuff in here. I'm not planning on it, but I love having a dedicated cross stitch bag instead of using my other project bags where most of them are sock project sized and were just not quite big enough for what I needed for cross stitch. Also from Phat Girls Fibre LLC, can you see that? I got these 2 skeins that my daughter picked out. She came with me, my kids came with me to Great Basin. I have never bought them before, but I was working on Saturday, so I had to go on Friday, and I am the childcare at the moment. I'm not paying for daycare. So they came with me and it actually went smoother than I thought. We masked up just because of the measles outbreak going on here in Utah, and my baby slept the whole time, which was amazing. So I could just leave him like enclosed in his stroller to protect him again from measles because he's too little to get the vaccine. So it made me feel a little bit safer and more comfortable being there out in public with such a like hodgepodge mix of people. So I'm glad that it worked out well, and my daughter had a really fun time. There was lots of like little demonstrations. She's 5, that she was old enough to be able to like help out with or learn from herself. So we had a lot of fun. But she picked out these 2 colors. This is like a really dark purple, and this is like a hot pink, but it's like a deeper hot pink. It's like slightly more saturated, I would say, than like a traditional hot pink. This is Anivah and this is Shani. These are the colorways. And my impression was that some little girls inspired these colorways, and that's why they're named what they are. But my daughter wants me to make her a butterfly, like a stuffed animal butterfly. If you have any pattern recs, let me know, but there's like not a lot out there. While I'm comfortable with amigurumi, with crochet, I haven't knit any toys or like stuffies or anything. So I'm interested and intrigued, but it's time for me to make something for my daughter, and this is what she wants, and she's mentioned it multiple times, and she picked out the yarn for it. So now this is happening, and I just need to find a pattern because yeah, I just don't feel comfortable enough freehanding because I haven't made a lot of knit stuffies. I haven't made any knit stuffies. I've done some amigurumi, some crochet, but not knitting. Let me know if you have any pattern recommendations. I'll probably also pull some like little scrap balls of yarn for like little accents and stuff. I wasn't gonna buy like 5 skeins of yarn for this one little project. I limited her to 2 main colors, and then I will pull the rest from my stash. And of course I had to stop by one of my favorite dyers, Yarnaceous Fibres, Maggie. She had a big booth there, and she had some Jurassic Park inspired colorways. I think she did a collab last year maybe, and she had these put-ups that I love. They are 250-gram skeins of the variegated and the tonals, and so I grabbed all of the sets that were really like calling to me. And so this set is called Fossil and Women Inherit the Earth. This one is called Primeval Grove, and I'm not hysterical, I'm homicidal. And this one is Rose Quartz, and I wish they never came back. So if you want to know like what my color story is, this is a pretty good representation of it. So my thought is I can make some nice socks with these, use the tonal for some accents. I really don't need more than a 50-gram skein of a main color. I probably won't even use all of that. I'll have a little bit left over, and then I'll have quite a bit of this tonal left, even after using it for contrast, that I can use in other projects, gnomes, other socks, etc., which is great because I don't have a lot of tonals. I feel like I do need to like enhance the tonal or solid color part of my stash. I'm really excited about these. They're such a fun put up and a way to like sample a lot of different colors together. And then I also got this cute stitch marker for my purchase. It's like a sparkly Yarnaceous dinosaur. So cute. And then I purchased one other skein. This is Copy Moonjoy because of Artemis 2 inspired, which is so fun. I love space. I've always been interested between like Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which did not have as much space as I had hoped. The Artemis 2 launch and return, Project Hail Mary, like I'm all about space right now. It's always been an interest of mine and I am hyperfixating. So this color is so pretty. Sorry. This is a holographic stitch marker as well. It's got the moon on it. That's so hard to see. I hope that it doesn't come across so angrily on your end, but like seeing it in my screen, it looks hard to look at. I love how variegated this color is. It's very interesting. It's got some yellows and some like rosy pinks. There's a little bit of like blues even. It just felt like neutral adjacent. A lot of colors I really like, but also something really interesting and different, and this would be a great hat, a great pair of socks. And so the longer I thought about it, the more I was like, this is something special. I really want to take this home. Like, look at that. So pretty. Okay, I'm trying to hurry through this because I have a meeting in a few minutes. The last yarn I got at Great Basin Fiber Arts is this beautiful, beautiful yarn. This kind of limited edition. They're not milling this anymore. This is Sustain by So Happy Jane, and this base is called their Confetti Worsted, and it's got like, I wish this lighting was better, I'm so sorry, but it's like an oatmeal colored base with some rainbow tweed bits, but they're pretty subtle and they're really well integrated into the yarn. The sample they had, stunning. So first of all, I love a non-superwash yarn. I love a local yarn. It is 89% domestically raised merino, and then 6% recycled acrylic, 5% rayon neps. It was stunning in the sample. Like, I was sold on it. I love neutral with a little something different. I think I'm gonna get so much wear out of this. I am going to test knit the Golden Hour sweater by Devin King, and this has cables going like on the V-neck, down the front, going around the shoulder and down the side. I haven't cast it on yet. That's what this yarn is for, and I'm really, really excited about it. It just feels so soft. The stitch definition was beautiful, so I think it's gonna look great with the cables. Neutral adjacent, classic adjacent. It's gonna work really great in my wardrobe. I got one other bag from Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair. This one is from, what is the company called? Snickle and Mr. B. Look at these cats crafting. It's perfect. And I do need more larger project bags. I have a lot of sock project bags, so I wanted something that was like, would work for a sweater or shawl, you know, something a little bigger. Not a massive bag though. So it'll probably be a tight squeeze for a sweater, but so cute. I love it. All the fun textile crafts. And then I also grabbed some fiber. I've done a little bit of spinning, not a lot. And it's been drop spindle. I have it right here actually, that my friend taught me, Althea. I've also done a little bit of like wool painting, I guess you could say, where you are like felting a picture. And this color just seems so stunning and beautiful. There's a little bit of sparkle in there. It just felt very wildflowery. I got two bundles. I don't know if that's the word. Each of them is 2 ounces. So I have plenty of fiber to do whatever I need with it. It's just so pretty. Yeah, so I would love to use this for some like wool painting and use the leftovers for just a little bit of spinning, make something fun, like a hat maybe. I don't know. I'm not quite privy on how many ounces of fiber I need to make certain projects. So this will be good to experiment with. I need to go because I have a meeting. We'll come back to this and I will finish talking about my new yarn goodies and also what's been going on with me. So thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in just a second. All right, we are back. I've had my meeting. I have a collaboration coming up soon, so I'm excited about that. My baby has awoken. He scratched me while I was nursing, but he's been fed, changed, and whatnot. He's hanging out with me here, so if you hear little cute baby noises, let's finish talking about some new yarn goodies that came to me. One last thing that I purchased from Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair, and this is something I've never seen from this maker before. So this is Dragon Horde Yarns. They do dye yarn, of course, but they recently had stitch markers and buttons. So they had these cute sets. Isn't that so cute? They've got some books. I love that it's like a neutrally beigey color. The colors on the buttons besides the base are very like desaturated. There's some like mauves in there, definitely colors that I love. And I wanted to make a book club cardigan by Sari Nordlund. And I was like, these would be perfect because they are a color palette I love, but there's also lots of different colors included on those buttons. So that would make it really easy for me. Whatever yarn I end up picking for that project will probably suit these buttons, or at least I can find yarn that will suit these buttons for that project. So I snagged some because I'd not seen this from this dyer before, and I thought they were so cute and fun. And it came with some stitch markers too in the same pattern. So that's everything from Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair. My classic lit club from Yarnaceous Fibers also came in, and this is the colorway. It is To Kill a Mockingbird, and the mini is called Boo Radley. I have read To Kill a Mockingbird. It's been a couple years. It would be good to revisit. So I might throw this on my list of books to read soon because I do want to read more classics. That's partly why I was intrigued by this yarn club. I thought it would be so fun to visit some of these classics that I hadn't before or hadn't in a long time. And I love book related yarns. So it was just perfect, I feel like. I love this bluish tinged green. Here's the little card to go with it. Of course, the book's by Harper Lee. The quote on the back says, "People generally see what they look for and hear what they listen for." And of course, it came with a stitch marker, as all the ones do. And this one is shaped like a little bird, which is so cute. So I am doing this club, so I'm getting a different sock set every single month. I will make some kind of a blanket with all these yarns. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll decide that once I have every skein that is coming for this club. And then my last bit of new yarn goodies I want to talk about is I made a big purchase from Goose and Ghost Knits. Really? And I already talked about how much I love Ashley's work, but she was doing, I think, a birthday sale maybe. And so I snagged a lot of things as like a happy birthday to you, and also yay me, because I needed a few things and there's a couple things I had wanted to try. So we'll start small and go big. I got a couple of her new tiny totes that she's made. Aren't they so cute? They've got this really nice clip. Like the fastenings that she uses are really high quality. It's got a little zipper. It's just got a little pocket. So this might be good for like notion pouches or like a coin purse or something like that. They're just adorable. And so I thought this would be really cute. So I got heart one because I love this little design of hers. I actually purchased some note cards from her too that I can use, as well as a bag in this print. I think I have a black bag. I can't remember. I have to go find it. And then I also purchased this one, which is new of hers. And this is Phase Blade, is what she calls this fabric. So cool. And I love this blue. And look, the fastenings on this, it's that like oil spill, multicolored, multi-chrome. So, so pretty. So 2 of those. Probably I'll use them as like notion pouches. They're pretty small though, so I'll have to be intentional about what I put in them. But they can just clip onto bigger bags, which I love. This is the last of her stock of this notions pouch of honey theme. Look at that, so cute. And again, I love, she has really quality zippers. I love these notion pouches. I have a couple in this size and they are plenty big for everything I could possibly need them for. So this is a great size for notion pouches. And I thought this was nice and fun, springy. I got a sock bag of Phase Blade because again, I feel like I just need a little bit more of like this size. I've had to place some like project musical chairs, musical bags, swapping things around a little bit. So I just needed like a little bit more space to organize things. So I got this bag, again, the phase blade. I really love it. It's hard to tell in this lighting, but this is like a lilac-y purple and this really beautiful blue. Such a fun color. And then I do need more big project bags for garments, blankets, etc. because I don't make a lot, so I don't need a lot of project bags, but I needed a little bit more. I got, this is her, I think early spring is what she called this fabric. Sorry. Let's show. So it's a bigger size, definitely could fit a garment, could be a good start for a blanket. Things might get squished if it was like a really big cardigan or like a really big blanket, but a really good size for what I would want to use it for mostly. Look at all these cute little springy things. So I'm gonna use, this actually has some honey on it. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm gonna use this Notion pouch in here. Cute, cute, cute. Which is great because I have a couple test knits coming up that are garment size, so I need somewhere to put them, and especially somewhere big enough that I can also put the paper pattern so I can make like notes in red pen as I work on the pattern and give good feedback on my test knit. I do prefer the drawstring bags because I can like hang it on my wrist if I'm working on things, or if I have a lot to juggle, I can, you know, carry it like that. But I do really love the zipper pouches for notions. And then Ashley was so nice and gave me like a little goodie bag. So there's that early spring as like a drawstring sack. And this is good also for sock projects. A little bit cheaper if you are on a tight budget. One thing I purchased that I want to rave about is this sticker of this angry ghosty. Cool girls hate AI. And I'm in Utah. They just approved a hyperscale data center. We are already in a drought. Our snowpack is abysmal this year, and they're very worried about our water situation. And yet the governor helps to fast track an AI center. Utah is livid. Honestly, I am too. Because cool people hate AI. She has these stickers, Ashley does, in her shop, so definitely recommend you purchase one. We need to talk about this more because it feels like not enough people understand the ecological implications and environmental implications of using AI, let alone the implications for our own intelligence and human interaction. There's a lot of bad news associated with it, and we are not being careful enough with what's available. I have strong feelings about this, and they literally just passed the vote yesterday where the Box Elder County commissioners, I think, board just voted to let this data center come, even though there was thousands of people screaming at them to not, like in person. I sent emails. Anyway, I have strong feelings about it. But no, let's fast and pray for our water situation instead of implementing policy and law changes that will help conserve our water. Again, I have strong feelings about it. I'm a religious person, but Jesus helps those who help themselves. Okay, enough about that. I'm getting worked up. I love that sticker, definitely recommend. And then other goodies that Ashley included in the little baggie. She said that this is a sticker, a little teaser of something to come. Oh gosh. A little teaser of something to come. Dinosaur, maybe? Looks like he's knitting. Can you see that? Adorable. Oh my gosh, I keep dropping everything. She threw in a measuring tape. I could always use one in my project bags, as well as a little stitch marker set that she made. Cute! And she wrote me a sweet letter, which was so, so nice. So that was just really sweet getting a little goodie baggie from her. I love supporting her as a friend. I love what she makes and I love supporting her, and I really want her to get the love that she deserves. So check out her shop, please. He's done. He needs to be held. So those are all of the newest yarn goodies that I have acquired. Goal to use up my yarn stash this year. If you've seen some of my videos, this series is called Attack My Stash. I definitely increased my stash this past month because of Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair, and I kind of expected that. I also expect that in July for the Utah Yarn Crawl, I'll probably increase my yarn stash that month. But if those are the only 2 months of the year that I increase my yarn stash, I think that would be amazing. And so I'm still actively working on it, and I'm trying to purchase yarns that I very much see myself using soon rather than lingering in my stash for a while. I'm definitely being more judicious about what I purchase. So if you want to follow me in my journey of attacking my stash this year and probably into the future as well, make sure to check out some of those videos. I just recently came out with a video about classifying my yarn stash, finally putting it all in a spreadsheet and counting how many skeins of yarn I actually have. This is definitely the bulk of it, but I have yarn all over my room, and I also have yarn tied up in some of my works in progress. So let me know down below what your guess is for my final count of how much yarn I have in my stash. And you can check out that video to learn more about all the stats of my yarn stash and maybe participate in a little game of over under for guessing how much yarn I have in those categories. That was a really fun video to do, and it was a really good chance for me to actually sit down and finish classifying my yarn, because I had started at the beginning of the year and it just felt like such a daunting task, but I like hammered through it in just a couple days to really knock it out. And so I have a really good system set up to start tracking in the moment now of what yarn comes into my stash, what yarn comes out of my stash, so I can continue to keep track of my yarn usage. And so I think for future videos, for Attack My Stash especially, I'll be able to let you know like how much yarn I started the month with and how much yarn I ended the month with, which would be really fun to have like a quantifiable number to talk about. I'm not going to talk about it here because I want you to go see that vlog, but maybe in a future video, I will start talking about my goals for how much yarn I think I will have by the end of the year in my stash, like below what threshold I want to reach in this journey of attacking my stash and using up the yarn I have. Other things going on with me and my family, again, sleep regression. It's really hurting. It's really hard. With my daughter, she's 5 now, but with my daughter, I feel like we would have like a week-ish of like bad sleep and then things would kind of get back to normal. It's been like 4 weeks now of rough sleep. And waking up like 4 to 5 times a night, with 1 or 2 of those wake ups being hard for him to like put down and actually go to sleep for, it's really hard. Like to the point where I'm falling asleep while I'm trying to feed, where I am passing him off to my husband as soon as I'm done feeding just so I can get some sleep because he's not going down, where I am so exhausted at the end of the day that I'm going to bed earlier than I used to, that I'm not editing videos like I used to, that I'm not knitting and crocheting in bed like I used to, just because my brain is literally like short-circuiting and like I cannot keep my eyes open. And it's hard being that tired and trying to function. So I appreciate you for being here and for bearing with me as I am going through this season and making do. I promise I'm still coming out with videos. I don't know how many I'll come out with this month, and I won't be able to catch up as much on like the content as I was hoping to because I just don't have the capacity right now, unfortunately. And pray for us because this sleep progression is like really, really taking it out of me. You've probably noticed I cut and dyed my hair. This is closer to the color I was going for. When I first got it dyed, it was like a lot more vibrant red. I want like an auburny color. I would love it to be like a little, even a little bit lighter than this is kind of what I was going for. But my mom's a redhead, so I really like dyeing my hair red when I'm ready for a big change because I know that it will look good on me. And it's getting close to what I want as far as like lengthwise, because they ended up doing it a little bit shorter than I preferred, and color-wise it's starting to fade a little bit. But they did a permanent, and so I'm already starting to get roots, so I gotta figure out what I want to do about that so that I hopefully don't have like a weird line. I don't dye my hair often, so I'm still kind of learning a lot. So let me know down below your tips and tricks about dyeing hair. Should I do a special kind of root touch-up or any kind of root touch-up that's in the red family? Will that be good enough? I don't really know. And I don't have the budget to like go to like a fancy salon every couple weeks. We're not doing that. So we'll probably be DIYing our root touch-up and just maintaining the color as much as we can as things are starting to fade finally, and just enjoying this color until like it doesn't stick around any longer. I mentioned the Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair. Because I had my kids with me, I did not even attempt to vlog it or do a reel or anything like that. I have a couple previous years recorded on my channel if you want to check it out. I love the size of it. This year, they actually had it in one big barn instead of split up between a couple different barns. And I really like that everyone was all together and that it was all inside. You didn't have to travel between a couple different barns. It made it feel like more spacious, but also very communal. I really liked it. And I love that there's a lot of yarn people, but also like natural fleeces and other equipments. You know, if there was someone that had like carders and spinning wheels, there's some bag makers, things like that. There was someone with a loom that was talking about their classes that they teach. So I really like the spread of crafts, and it is still very much geared towards the fiber artist, not just someone who appreciates the textile arts. There's a lot to purchase that's not like a finished object, that are more supplies and, yarns and tools and things like that. I definitely recommend. They have this every year at Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair. They hold it in Farmington at the Western Sports Complex, if that's what it's called. And I look forward to it every year. I've been like 4 or 5 times now in all my years between college and moving back here few years ago to Utah, just being able to appreciate the fiber arts there in like a semi-local capacity. Lots of Utah makers, but also people from Idaho as well, and some yarn dryers that I really love. I get to see them at this fair as well, and it's just really fun to be able to support small businesses in that way and to, I don't know, sharing your textile arts love. It's fun to go to Rhinebeck and Flock and those really big events, but it's also really fun to go to these smaller events that are just as enjoyable, if not more so, because they're not like overrun and inundated by people. It's this time of year where we're gardening and hoping that the weather will not get too cold from here on out. I said it was like 45 degrees. It was 45 degrees when I woke up. Right now it's like in the mid 50s. I think it's gonna be low 60s as the high today, so not too bad. And the rain, we are loving the rain. I am so excited to have a garden. We have some planter boxes and we have like a little planting table. We have big plans, and it's hard to implement big plans, especially with kids in tow and with busy schedules and with neurospiciness going on. But we are starting things out and doing well. I have a reminder on my phone to water our garden, so we should have plants this year. Hopefully we will not forget to water them. It was really hard being in my first trimester when we were starting a garden last year because I was not effective at helping out in any way, shape, or form. I was so exhausted and so nauseous. I had a hard time. But this year, we're gonna make it a good one and we're gonna do great. We just have like a little bit of everything. So we have some spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, peppers. What else? We have some strawberry plants, handful of things. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll also get a chance to like cultivate this little garden and also work a little bit on our lawn landscaping, make some progress there. I think we want to do like a kind of a patio type of setup and have the patio connected to where we'll put raised garden beds. So it's all on the same like walkway type of area. I don't know. Hopefully we'll make some progress there too. And we can also kind of like get into a better habit of having a garden and growing our own produce, being more self-sufficient in that sense, and appreciating our earth and the nature that we have access to. Love it. I'm excited to have a garden. It's small. Hopefully it'll be a good one though. We're gonna really work hard on it this year. Let me know if you have a garden this year and what you're working on growing. I'm most excited for spinach, I think. I like that I can just pick a handful of leaves off to like throw in my omelet or to throw in a salad. I love picking spinach from my garden, and I also really like how you can pick leaves like a few times before the plant is done, and so it honestly like is a really good cycle, and I get a lot of use out of pulling spinach from the garden. So I'm most excited about that, I think. Speaking of crafty things, because I mentioned that I like to do crafts, I didn't share this like in the main portion of the podcast, but I am making some cloth wipes and burp rags for my friend who was my doula when I gave birth. She's having a baby any day now, and she is wanting to try cloth diapering with this baby of hers. And so I've cloth diapered my 2 kids, both of them. He's in a cloth diaper right now, nice and bulky. And so I've gotten kind of into the hang of things. I'm going to sew some cloth wipes for her to use, and some burp rags with some more extra flannel that I have around. I have a serger machine. I don't use it nearly as often as I should, but yesterday my daughter helped me pick out like what stitch pattern to just like sew things down, and then I'm gonna serge all the edges to make them look nice and to kind of prevent them from fraying and make them a little bit more hard wearing. So we're working on that, and I'm really excited to be able to make those for her. Again, I love being crafty DIY stuff, and I love supporting her in the journey that she is making with cloth diapering for her kids, because it's more of an environmental choice for her. And so being able to make something like handmade also kind of fits the vibe, if that makes sense. So she doesn't have to buy things, but she can be gifted what will help her out in her cloth diapering, and I hope that it goes well for her. I'm working on that. That's kind of a fun diversion type of a project, and my daughter's gonna help. I'm excited to pull out my serger today and to like practice a little bit and to kind of whip out a bunch of those cloth wipes and burp rags. So if I have that project done by the time I come out with this video, I'll pop up a picture so you can see kind of what I was working on. And then finally, I wanted to pick your brain a little bit because I want to make a summer tank this year. First of all, Utah is so hot. Second of all, I haven't made tanks in the past. I am looking for something that has like a wider strap, but it's still a tank. I guess I could do like a cap sleeve, but I would really like a tank because I haven't made one before. I would love for it to be breastfeeding friendly if possible, but I know that's not as likely, and so it's okay if it doesn't have like buttons or anything, but I would just love to make something of that variety. So I love lower necklines. This is a little high for me, like my preference. I love V-necks and I love more of like a scoop neckline too, just to have a little less fabric going on around my neck. Yeah, and probably fingering weight, but I'm looking at some like vest patterns because vests are kind of in right now to wear as like a tank top type of thing, you know, like button up. So I might do a vest because then I could get like the breastfeeding friendly and also have like a more modest tank going on. There's a couple other tank patterns that I've seen that I might have to like adapt to be a little bit thicker of a strap, but that probably won't be super hard. I just need to like figure that out. So if you have any tank patterns that you really, really love that are a little bit more on the modest side, that are like a wider strap, that are really well written patterns or really easy to modify, let me know. I think that's everything for this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. This was kind of a longer yarn goodie section and a longer chit chat life section too. I really love building a community here on YouTube, and I'm so grateful for all of you joining me here. So feel free to comment down below and let me know the things that you're working on. If you've made any of these projects that I have, if you are looking forward to any of these projects I'm test knitting for when they are released. If you have any tips and tricks about things knitting or crochet related that I mentioned in my podcast, or even otherwise, like gardening or whatnot, I would love to hear because I want to continue to build my community here and connect with you here on YouTube as well as over on Instagram at Crochet Creations. Thank you so much for your patience as I am making it work around 2 kids, and I really appreciate you and hope to see you again soon for another video. If you like this type of content and want to see more from me, definitely make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification down below because I post regularly but not on a consistent schedule at all because of what else life has in store for me right now in this season. But until next time, happy making. Bye!